Okay, welcome back everyone. Today we've got an interesting question and it can be very, very relatable to a lot of people, I think. So, you know those days when you're just not, when you've lost focus of what you, of where you want to go, and
Mm-hmm.
your determination, your motivation was out the window, totally gone. How do you re-find your motivation when you lose it?
Okay. I can immediately, a few things come to my head
Mm,
because I have been in this position many a times. Um, so I'll just start from the top of my head. I, you know, if I really have lost motivation, the first thing I like to do is those quick wins that we talk about. So I like to clean my room. And because usually when I'm in a position where I'm not that motivated, it's sort of been going down in a downhill incline. And also my room has got a bit messier just because I'm like, seeps.
yeah,
So cleaning my space, decluttering really just works, I don't know, psychologically for
yeah.
me just to sort of align me back to my path and help me find my determination. So that's something I like to do.
It's almost like clicking the reset button essentially.
Yeah.
You're like, getting everything like a clean slate, blank surface. Let's go again, type of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. I actually had one of those days the other day. Like, cleaned my room, took the heater downstairs because it's so hot now, and
Mm.
um, and then like yeah, cleaned out like my little cupboard, which was just like becoming gross mess of just random like things I've picked up, lighters, whatever, cards, you know it.
Yeah,
So even after that, I just felt good and felt sort of more ready to go.
yeah.
What else I'll do is work out because personally for me exercise is a huge contribution to my overall health, of course, like my physical health but also my mental health and just my drive. So when i
Mm.
when i work out, I feel so much better after the workout, especially like going for a hard workout, like say the hard lifting session or a sprint, like a sweaty sprint. And
Mm.
doing that a few days in a row, kind of once again going back to those sort of quick wins, compounding wins, and that sort of gets me in my redirected and helps me
Mm.
find my purpose again.
So you mentioned there doing it a couple of days in a row. It kind of sounds like the habit of exercise or the routine of the exercise, not just the actual doing the exercise itself, but the structure that it gives you is also pretty important.
Yeah. Oh,
And
definitely.
I know for me, one of the things I find helps me find like my kind of way again is sometimes not even doing an exercise session, but using that period of time to plan out, my next week of training, my next month of training, my next exercise goal that I want to work towards. So all of a sudden you get one thing that you can see that you're like, yep, that's what I'm determined to achieve. And you can kind of add things along from there. So I totally agree with you on that one. That like exercise is important. But I find for me sometimes even that first on that day when you're like, that's it, I gotta have a reset here. Like
Mm.
I won't even do any exercise because I'll spend the whole day planning out what I actually want to do instead of just doing it. I
Mm.
find for
And
me it's more beneficial for like the rest of the week.
that gives you a bit of energy and excitement too, doesn't it?
Mm,
Yeah. I think like with for me determination, I feel like it's very similar to you. Being not determined is not following sort of our routines.
mm,
And yeah, just that constant like that exercise or like writing down your new program, that's sort of a signifier to get back into that routine.
mm.
Because yeah, that's how when I feel undetermined, I feel like I've kind of derailed from the routine that I was in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Would you have anything that you can do to help you refine your routine? Outside of exercising and fitness. Let's say it's a work routine. is there anything you find quite helpful to be able to refine your path in terms of your, doing the same things for work day in, day out that you know are successful?
Yes, but it takes a bit of time to implement it. So I reflect on my week from work every week. So I just have like a Word document where I have a few different bullet points and I write a
Mm,
reflection of what went well that week, what didn't go so well, and what I can improve on.
yeah.
And even that alone, when I'm feeling undetermined or I'm feeling out of touch with like my routine, I can just scroll back and look through that, read through it, and sort of rewires my mind and like reminds me of like, because you can see the sort of progress from week 1 to let's say week 10, where I was like,
Mm.
what I needed to do here and here and here and here and here, what I needed to do better here, 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 here. So that works. I also do goal setting. I find that helps in
Do they make that a part of your work to actually set goals that the work is aware of, or do you just do it yourself?
so actually with my manager, she gets us to send her at the beginning of the week our weekly goals. And then with that, you also respond with the previous week goals and what you met and what you didn't. So there's
Mm,
that component. So definitely it works like that. It's not like an official thing. It's just something she like she started, which is good. But then I also just have my own sort of, little work journal that I write in and just write my own sort of personal work goals and I do it that way. Yeah.
mm. Do you
What?
find that a
Yeah.
list before you get going is helpful?
A list. What do you mean?
Like a little, like for me, I know on, at work when everything kind of feels a bit confusing and overwhelming, like instead of trying to just chase every little thing after, one after the other, taking some time to actually make a little to-do list, get an idea of how much there actually is so you can actually see it in front of you. And so it all kind of fits into the picture. And then working through it from there, I find is really helpful for me.
Yeah, definitely. At the beginning of this job, I wasn't really doing a to-do list because, yeah, I guess first full-time job.
Mm,
And, I just kind of came into it like a bit airy fairy, like, let's just see how it goes. But I immediately started feeling like, oh my God, there's just so much stuff I need to do here and here and here. And
mm,
implementing that to-do list visualizes it, and then you can tick things off so you can see what you've progressed. It's always so important for me anyway to be able to see what I've done because
mm,
it works in keeping me determined. By seeing what I've done, I'm like, oh, look, I've actually done that much. I'm actually
yeah.
doing something. So let's keep on going. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that
I get
works well
that.
for me.
Yeah. I just a second on that one. For me, like writing down like little, like short little lists and then be able to like cross them all out and like scrunch that thing up and throw it in the bin. Like, I don't know. So there's something so nice about that feeling. I can't leave one little thing on there not done. I find that just makes me so much more efficient because I'm like, got to finish all these things. I can throw that piece of shit paper in the bin.
Exactly. It's,
You
it's
know,
all it's all
it's
mind manipulation. You got to
it
manipulate
is.
yourself a bit to keep
You
yourself
got
determined.
to learn, do what you're good at and identify what you're bad at.
Yeah,
And that
exactly.
way, you can, if you find having a little sticky note with, things to do annoys you enough to finish them all, and give it a go. I guarantee you'll get that list done pretty quickly.
Yeah, 100%. And
Mm,
if all else fails, I think what helps me a lot, and it even spikes my determination to be saying that, is talking to my friends like you, Chris, other boys, even the girlfriend. Just talking to my friends, especially my like-minded friends that they might not be in a rut and they notice I'm in one and they just telling me, even hearing what they're doing, like how they're going, they're smashing their goals. It's like, all right, yeah, look, they're doing this. So like, it's time to, put my part and smash my goals.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, chatting with a friend is the best. I
Yeah.
love.
Like, like minds can be a crazy thing. And just like, I think we naturally all go through different periods of growth and, not growing as much and, getting stuck in a rut or, feel like you're soaring. And then I guess some of that energy can kind of bounce off to other people pretty easily if you're open to listening. And like I totally agree. I know there's been so many times, and I think Chris would attest to this too, when you've fallen totally out of your pattern, out of your routine, and the not the competitive side, but that side that kind of wants to be like everyone else that you see as being successful and achieving. It's like, that's it. Got to get back on that path, because all of a sudden you get a visualization of it again,
Mm.
and it's a pretty, I think it's an addictive feeling.
Yeah, exactly. And like in its own weird way, you can kind of feel a bit guilty, or I do sometimes
Mm.
if I'm not if I'm just not really doing much, and I hear like especially you two like keep on going. I'm like, oh, why? It makes me feel guilty, but in a good way.
Mm. Yeah.
Because sometimes you need to find your determination, not in like a nice positive way, like quick wins, but like in like a sort of like anger, like pissed off at
Mm.
yourself, sort of way.
Like, they're very strong emotions. Like, if little things doesn't do it for you, betting against yourself, and it's, I guess it's not a very nice way of feeling, feeling let down in yourself. But like, man, if ever I kind of look into what I'm doing and I'm like, I could be doing more, or there's other people doing more than me, then man, like, it just kind of ignites these little sparks, little flame. It's kind of, it's like putting in a new battery full of this explosive power, and then away you go again. And it's just been like a little mental trick.
Mm.
You've just pissed yourself off,
Yeah,
and you channeled all the energy.
exactly. You need that anger, and that
Yeah.
a good way too uh, um is remembering a time you failed too. That makes me like, oh, I don't want to feel like that
Mm.
again. So if I don't
Yeah.
want to feel like that again, I better get out of this bed and do what I need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you wrapped up that question pretty well. I'll give it to you. I think that's quite, I mean, we have quite a long list of things that we do.
Yeah.
And I think that's quite indicative as to how diversified and also how individualized these approaches can be. There's no one set concrete way that we use that we would, help to pick ourselves back up and get us back on the right path. And I think that other people would have some crazy, amazing ways that would work for them, might not work for us, might be the best thing for us. But it can be so chopped and changed in terms of where you're up to in that particular time.
Yeah. There's no one foolproof way.
Mm.
You gotta you
Just
gotta chop
about
and
learning.
change it. Keep that body, keep that mind guessing.
Yeah, keep it learning.
Keep
Keep
it
it
learning.
keep challenging itself. Well, thanks, mate. You've done pretty well. I'm pretty sure people are going to be quite interested to hear this one. Make sure to check us out on Instagram. Check out our Move for Sight page also too. Awesome cause. And we've got big week 5 coming up soon. So it doesn't sound like very much in the big scheme of things, does it? But still, every kilometer counts.
Every K counts. All right, mate. Good to see you.
You too.